Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And today I have with me Brooke Jenkins. Now, I'm going to tell you, I know any of the Badass crew who's been listening for any amount of time is not going to be shocked when I say I met Brooke through BNI. I know, you're shocked. It's so weird. Anyway, Brooke Jenkins is a powerhouse of passion, resilience, and inspiration. Over the past decade, she has not only transformed her own health, losing 100 pounds and conquering food addictions, but she's also juggled life as a mom of 4, a farmer's wife, and a classic car enthusiast. Married to her high school sweetheart for over 22 years, she has built a life of love, determination, and a deep commitment to wellness. When she's not volunteering at her kids' school, she's advocating for others on their own health journeys. Get ready for a down-to-earth conversation with someone who's really living the farm life and proving that anything is possible with heart, hustle, and a little horsepower. Welcome to the show, Brooke.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. Well, when we first met, I remember it was during one of our wellness power teams that we're a part of. And we were kind of chit-chatting. And as you were telling your story, I was like, oh, she has got to be on the show. So why don't you share with everyone? Because that introduction like teases a lot of really cool things like losing 100 pounds and you've kept it off for over 10 years.
Yes. And added 2 babies to our family during that 10 years because my 2 littlest ones is 6 and 8 now. So,
oh my gosh. Okay. So tell us your story. How did you get to where you are today as somebody who's empowering people with their health?
oh goodness. Well, where to start, honestly, because I've actually am one of those that struggled with my weight my whole life. Like as a teenager, I was always the big girl, like always the big girl, in playing sports, all the things, but I was always the big girl on the team. And, I got married my high school sweetheart, as you said. And what happens when you get married, you get happy, you get comfortable. Well, weight kept on coming on. And I was diagnosed at age 25 with polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. A lot of women know what that is. And, fertility issues, that sort of thing. So we were actually married 8 years with a miscarriage before we were able to welcome our first daughter. Totally grace of God for that.
Wow.
And what a blessing. But our second one came very quickly. They're about 17 months apart. But I had, and I'm going to say it wasn't for the lack of trying. Like I had tried my whole life to lose weight, to get healthy. And then with the diagnosis of PCOS, I tried more and tried more. So you name the diet, you name the fad, I've tried it or at least looked into it. Like legit, something they're not even here anymore. And nothing had ever worked for me. And honestly, 10 years ago, I was miserable. I was defeated. I was hopeless. I was a mom of a 3 and a 4-year-old and was just like, I'm done. I'm done trying. Nothing works for me. I'm accepting this is as good as it's going to get. And it was done. A friend of mine became a coach and was starting to help other people. He was really excited about this. And he'd lost 80 pounds on his own. And he was really excited about this, about how he can help more people. And I said, not going to work for me. Nope. But I want to support him. He was excited about this. He's a good friend of mine. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll give you 30 days. I'm going to support you, prove to you this is not going to work for me because nothing works for me. I've tried it all. And 30 days in, yes, I lost weight, but I felt amazing. I had energy, I had stamina, I had joy, I had patience with a 3 and a 4-year-old. It was just amazing. My whole life had changed. And so I said, all right, let's see what happens. And kind of the rest is history because, I ended up losing 100 pounds and really, adopted so many habits of health and mental. I'm just going to underline that huge piece of it. So that's kind of that story. 10 years ago.
That's amazing. And so, with how long did it take you to go through that process of the 100 pounds? Like,
Well, honestly, not very long. You'll be shocked to hear this. About 7.5 months.
oh,
When I
wow.
started to actually transition and actually, learn how to sustain after that. Yeah, so pretty quick, but all in a very healthy way. It's a very scientific to really manage macros and really, you know, the mental again.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, there's a lot to anything in life being, it starts with our thoughts, it starts with our belief patterns. And, it's one of the things that I'm starting to realize in my own life, because right now I'm at my heaviest that I've ever been. I've never been this heavy, not even when I was pregnant with my giant children, because I'm 5'10, my ex-husband is 6'4. The two of us do not make little babies. And I am heavier now than even when I was like 9 months ready to pop. Here comes the baby, right? And one of the beliefs that I've started realizing that is sitting in my subconscious was, well, my mom's heavy. So it must be that in my genetics, I'm supposed to be heavy when I hit X age, right? And I'm starting to go, well, that's bullshit because I have friends who are older than I am who are healthy, you know?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And you
So,
are not alone with that thoughts and those beliefs that's programmed into us from our society. Let's be real. Oh, you've had babies. You're going to have baby weight. It's just harder to get off. Oh, you've been, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. Oh, it's just harder. Oh, you're fine. Oh, you're just beautiful the way you are, all the things.
yeah, right. Well, and it's the other interesting thing that I've noticed about myself too is I feel like there's this like reverse body dysmorphia in that in my head, I still feel like the version of me, and not even before I had kids, because actually, when I was at my probably healthiest was actually between my two kids because I knew I wanted to get pregnant again. So I was trying to get as healthy as I possibly could. I was moving more, I was eating pretty well. And I was like, my before, like the picture that I have on Facebook that I think of when I'm like, yeah, I would love to get back to that. That's kind of still how I feel, how I see myself mentally, but then I see pictures or I catch my reflection in the mirror and that's not what I see in the mirror. And I'm like, the heck, you know?
Yes. Yes. You're not alone in that either. It goes both ways, right? So it
Okay.
goes both ways. So somebody who's been healthy and that's what they identify as, even though the reality is not, like we
Yeah.
tend to ignore the reality, put our heads in the sand for the reality and avoid the scale and avoid different things until we have to go buy those bigger jeans or we have to
Yeah.
go buy that bigger thing. And then we're like, and then we do it really quick and then we put our heads back in the sand. We don't want to look at that. We want to keep in our fantasy
Right.
of where we were, however long ago. But it can go the other direction too. So for me, it took me a long time because I had been heavy for the majority of my life, right?
Right.
As a teen, everything. It took me actually a long time to actually switch to that I'm healthy and that didn't have to go to the plus size. I remember so many times going to the store to get a new pair of jeans because I did it little by little, not a whole wardrobe all at once, right?
Hmm.
I would go to the plus size and start looking around and go, wait, I can't wear any of these clothes. And I have to stop myself and go, wait, where do I go? I didn't even know where to go. But it took me,
Wow.
and there's so many times where I would pass by the mirror and go, whoa, is that me? Oh, so it goes both ways. And my clients experience the same thing. So you're definitely not alone with
Okay.
either way. It's totally normal.
Yeah. So as you're working with clients towards their health and it's this mental game, where do you see that people get that first initial shift in that mindset? Like, does there seem to be a really common like aha light bulb, face palm, whatever somebody will call it moment?
Oh, I wish there was a common one, honestly. There is, it's different for every single person, but that little aha face palm thing is actually what I love that when they
Yeah.
finally get that. It's different for everybody. I wish there was a commonality with it. For some people, it could be just realizing that, as we get older, aches and pains and, stiffness and being fatigued, and those aren't normal actually as we get older. They really aren't. So that
Really?
for some people is a big, aha moment that, wow, I can feel great in my 40s and 50s. I had no idea. I thought it was normal to feel fatigued and have body aches and, be sluggish getting up in the morning. No, you can actually, I feel better now in my 40s than I did in my 20s. Like legit.
Nice. Well, that's good. Well, that's super interesting that you're saying all of this because I just got my Spotify Wrapped. So, yes, podcast listeners, we recorded this in December. So, yes, my Spotify Wrapped. Now, I don't listen to Spotify for music and stuff, but because I have the podcast, Spotify does a wrap for my show. And the average age of my listeners is 40 and over.
Oh, wow.
Like a majority of my listeners are over 40, just like me. Shocking. I know. But it's super interesting to hear that because I know that there's probably a lot of other people who are listening right now going, yeah, I thought all of those things were normal too. And they're probably thinking the same thing. So when you're working with clients, and I'm sure my audience right now is probably wondering why I brought you on. And so let me tell everybody really quickly. I brought Brooke on because one of the one of the excuses that some of my clients sometimes have for not working their business is, well, I don't have the energy to. And when I heard you talk about the increase in energy that you had, and even within 30 days of just starting to, do your own work on yourself back in the day, and the fact that that energy level has maintained over 10 years, I was like, all right, we got to get you on because my my peeps need energy and we need to stop. Like, I don't know how many of them are drinking, like, I'm not going to name any names, but those energy drinks that you get at the convenience store at your gas
Yeah.
station, or maybe you buy it at Costco or whatever. But that stuff, that's not energy, y'all.
No, it's not. I'll try not to go down that rabbit hole of what those are.
Right. But
But
they're not energy. I can tell you guys that right there.
yeah,
They're crutches is what they are.
100%. So, I mean, I could tell you so many stories and testimonies of clients that I'll give you a very recent one.
Yeah.
So she is just finishing up second week working with me. And she's in her 40s, late 40s, and she actually had back surgery and has been on prescription pain medicine for 6 years.
Mm,
And kid you not, in 1 week, her amount of pain medication she was taking on a daily is cut in half.
nice.
Cut in half. And her energy. So she, because of her pain, she would do housework and she'd do the minimal, but she really wasn't doing a lot because she was in constant pain. In her first week, she walked 4 blocks to Walmart and back. And she'd never done that before. And so those are big things that, like, just looking at business and looking at different things. If you are in your 40s and 50s and you think that, having aches and pains and creaking and groaning and all that sort of thing is normal, and what if all that was gone? How would your life look like? Would you have a little bit extra kick in your step? What about brain fog? That's a real thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually why we go to those energy drinks in the afternoon, because we're foggy brain. I can't think, I can't focus. Well, what if you didn't have brain fog? What if you had energy, you had a kick in your step, you didn't have brain fog, and you didn't have that 3 o'clock drag? Could you
Mm-hmm.
accomplish more in your business? I
Right.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the important piece for people to keep in mind is that there are many excuses that people use to not do their business, but this doesn't have to be one of them. And, so you've talked about the mental game. What are some of the other pieces of the health puzzle that are important for people to be aware of? And guys, I'm sure there's nothing in here that's going to be like massively jarring.
Nope.
But I'm sure Brooke has a way of talking about it and bringing it up that makes it more like, oh, that would be helpful
Yeah.
to know, So what
Yeah.
are some of the mental game is the big one. That's what we want to start with. What are some of the other pieces of the puzzle that you find are really important to help your clients with?
Definitely. I feel compelled to mention this piece about the mental piece really
Yeah.
quick. I feel like your listeners need to hear this because let's be real. We all know what we should do. We all know what we should eat. It's
Hmm.
not for the lack of knowing, it's for the lack of why we don't or why we choose something else. So the
Mm.
mental is so much bigger. It's 95%, in my opinion. The health journey is 95% mental. However, that being said, other components, something else that I feel is super underutilized and not given enough credit for is community. Because if
Oh.
you're the lone wolf in your life making changes and trying to get healthy and everybody else is doing the standard American diet around you, how long can you be the lone wolf? You can do it for a while. And especially if you're kind of like, Jennie and me, like we can really do it for a while.
We have no problem being the rebel.
Right? But it will catch up to you over time. And
Yeah.
because, the accomplices around us will wear us down and we will choose other things. Oh, this one won't hurt. This one won't hurt. Then that one leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. Then all of a sudden you're going, what the heck just happened? I just, gained all my weight back. Anybody been there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, a couple of years ago, I went through a health journey, lost, I think, 15 or 20 pounds, and I've gained it all back plus some now. But no, I think I agree with you on the community piece because when I was going through the health journey, that was a big part of why I was able to do it so well is I had a community of other people who were getting healthy at the same time. And I think what is different now is I've got my kids on board. And I did it in such a way that, well, here's the thing. I didn't even intentionally try and do it. I was watching a special on Netflix a couple of months ago about gut health, right? And then I watched a Netflix documentary about you are what you eat. So my kids saw bits of that with me. And by the end of it, they were like, Mom, should we go vegetarian? Maybe. I mean, let's try it for a while. So we've been trying to go, remove the massive amounts of meat that we had before and we're replacing it with other proteins. But it's been helpful because they're real, like, they even commented, they're like, Mom, why do we have a meat lover's pizza in the freezer? I'm like, I didn't buy it. It wasn't me. you know?
Well, and I love how you talked about your kids and you're on board because that's another really big piece as
Hmm.
moms and busy entrepreneurs. We again try to do it on our own.
Yeah.
And then what do we typically do if we have families? We make something for us, we make something different for them. So you're making two different meals, you're making two different things. I'm sorry, sweetheart. That's not sustainable at all. You need to get your whole family on board. And I'm
Oh,
not say
yeah.
engage them, have them be part of it. They will support what they create, and that makes a
Yes.
big difference
Oh,
long
yeah.
term.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with that because I've actually been having my kids help pick out, okay, what are we going to make this week? Okay, what do we need for grocery? Now, I also homeschool my kids. So this is part of their education and we're doing this as their health and wellness unit. So what meals are we going to make? What do we already have at home? What are we going to buy? So they help me build the Instacart because I hate shopping. I hate it. So easy if they just go in and they just add the things in and I can approve it or be like,
Yeah.
really? We're going to put that in the cart? No, I think not. But then they're also part of the cooking process now, too. Now, granted, I don't have 2 and 3 year olds. I've got a 12 and a 16-year-old at this point in time. So I think that community piece, and yes, especially moms getting their kids
Yes.
involved is
Yes.
important.
And I love how you brought up Instacart, honestly, because I am a huge advocate of Instacart and online grocery shopping. Because let's be real, we are busy entrepreneurs, we're busy moms and or dads or whatever. Who has time to go into the grocery store? And then guess what else is in the grocery store? All the temptations of all the other things. So
Hmm.
utilizing that is going to eliminate a lot of temptation, right? Because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
just going to be focused on what you need, what you want. You can stay on a budget and have it delivered if that's what you choose, or go pick it up if that's what you choose. It makes a world of difference.
Oh yeah, so much. I mean, because for me, it's so much easier to go through because then I create the cart and I'm looking at everything that goes in it. And then, there's also that, okay, how much are we spending? So I know in advance what that is. Cause I'm like, how close are we to the budget of what I think I'm going to be spending on groceries right now? And so that then forces me to go, okay, well, you know what? We can live without this less than healthy, coffee creamer or whatever, Now that really is mine. Only one of my kids has started drinking coffee. So that really I'm going to out myself. The coffee creamer that was less than healthy was mine. But I think that's important. So we talked about mindset, community. What's another puzzle piece that is important?
Two things. I'm going to say two things. Obviously, having a coach. Let's be
Mhm.
real. Anybody who is successful in anything has a
Yes.
coach for that thing.
Yep.
So, and I'm going to say I'm different because I've been there.
Mhm.
And just like my little bio said, I've overcome food addiction and emotional eating. Now, I'm going to say I'm not perfect by any means. I have my good days, I have my bad days. I have my good weeks and I have my bad weeks. I'm not perfect, but I'm here to advocate and help you get through that so you're strong on your side. The other thing, I'm a huge advocate of simplicity. We're busy
Mhm.
people, busy moms, busy entrepreneurs, busy whatever. If it's not simple, I don't want to do it. And so I want to help my clients to learn how can they keep things simple when planning ahead. Keep things simple to have easy grab and go because life is hectic and
Yeah.
life's going to throw you curveballs.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, how many times have we been in the process or thinking, okay, I think we're going to do this for dinner tonight. And then something comes up and you're like, and pizza in the freezer sounds really good, right?
Right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Seems really easy, but that not the best thing. Now, okay, so now I got to ask this question.
Yeah.
What about the cauliflower crust pizzas or
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, we can go there. There is a lot of cauliflower this, cauliflower that, healthy this, healthy that. Two words, false marketing.
mm,
There's a lot of them out there that claim to be healthy, that's marketed as healthy, but when you really learn what to look for in the nutrition facts and ingredients, it takes all of 2 seconds. And I do that on Instacart. I look at ingredients, I look at nutrition facts on Instacart to
mhm.
know, is this something that's truly healthy or is it just marketed as a ploy of being healthy? And so that's also something to help my clients learn how to look at that quickly and not have to learn and know all the macros and all the things. How can I simply look and know, is this something I want to put in my
Gotcha.
body or is this really just a false marketing ploy?
Gotcha. Good to know. Because that's the other thing. I was like, well, what about those? You know?
There's a lot of them that are just like, yeah, they have cauliflower in it, but it's really is just as unhealthy as a regular pizza crust.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good to know. Well, I'll be playing around with that later, looking at that, seeing, because are there any that, and not that you have to name a brand, this could be a yes or no, question, answer, or I should say yes or no answer. Are there any that you know of that fall in the truly closer to healthier category than not?
Yes and no. I mean, there's a couple of different ones that I personally do enjoy that are healthier. One of them I can no longer get, which is super, super sad.
Oh,
But the other one I keep it in my freezer all the time. It's not really a pizza crust, but it is a cauliflower based sandwich thin. And I love it. I use it
oh,
because I love my sandwiches and I love my bread, but this is my alternative and I use it all the time.
nice. Okay, good to know. So you said meant the mental game,
Mhm.
community, simplicity, and what else? There was
Coach.
coach. Yes, of course. Yes. Well, and that's what I wanted to go back to was because one of the most impactful things I ever heard when I first started my coaching business from a coach that I started working with was she said during one of our very first coaching sessions, in the absence of support, old habits always win. And I was like, oh, crap. Okay. Like, In fact, no, she didn't even say it in a first session. She said it in the workshop we were in that was the enrollment event for her coaching program. And I went, yeah, I know myself too well. I'm going to need that support piece because otherwise I will go back to the old habits. And guess what? I am still working with her 7 years later.
Yeah, support, and I have to say accountability, because you can have
Yeah.
support, but if you don't have true, authentic accountability, somebody who's going to kind of like, okay, you know what you did. You don't want to tell me, but you know what you did.
Yes, exactly. Well, and I think that also helps just the hidden element of accountability from a coach, especially, right? And this is something that I remember being true when I went on my first health journey. Yes, I had a health coach working with me then, was I knew I was having a weekly call with her, and it came down to, am I willing to report this to her or not? But like that started becoming a thought. Like, am I really willing to have that grown up beverage that is not on plan or right? And it was like, oh, okay. It wasn't so much the actual call. It was the idea of having to say the thing that made me go, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that beverage, or I'm gonna pass on that, dessert or whatever, or I would say, you know what? I'm willing to say I took a bite of that dessert. Like, because I don't like telling myself no, because that's the easiest and best way for me to rebel against my
Absolutely.
own best possible thing. But I'm like, if I take a bite, I'm like, I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna enjoy every freaking second of that bite.
Absolutely. Okay, so humans are naturally rebellious. I don't
Yes.
care who you are, we're naturally rebellious. So if we tell ourselves, no, I can't have that, guess what? You probably will end up having it, because you're
Yeah.
not going to stop thinking about it until you have it. Versus, what if you shifted that and said, I don't want that right now? Just a
Ooh.
tweak, it creates a truth, and then the rebellion will shut down because you're choosing not to have it right now.
Oh, so good. Okay, I think I figured out the title for this episode.
I love it.
Oh, that's so good. All right. So I wish we could continue talking about this, but we've already discussed the basic elements and why someone would want to take care of their health, whether it's with you or somebody else, doesn't really matter. But you are making it really hard for somebody to not want to at least connect with you after this, because when we were talking before the interview, before I hit record, I said, okay, so, do you have a gift for the badass crew? And you said, yes, I do. So tell us about the gift that you have for the badass crew.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited that I have a free wellness kit that I'm giving away.
Yay!
And you're going to be blown away. This wellness kit is going to be a complete health assessment that includes a 14-day plan, one-on-one coaching with me for 30 days, plus access to my digital content for 30 days.
Okay, so we have to go back through on this
Yes.
because it's a complete wellness kit. So a whole complete health assessment, a 14-day plan, like nutrition plan, like what's included in the plan.
The plan is going to give you a grocery list of whatever you can get your grocery to help keep your macros and your calories and everything in line with what you want. It's not always about weight loss. It can
Right.
be about sustaining, it can be about muscle building, it can be about whatever, but it's going to be in line with what your goals are.
That's fantastic. So, and I love that you pointed that out, that it's not just about the weight loss, because there are people in my community who are already healthy, but that, yeah, they're looking to do muscle gain now, or they're looking to, maintain, stay where they are. And it'd be nice to know, oh, hey,
Yeah.
guys, if for no other reason, a 14-day plan, 2 weeks where you don't have to think about anything, it's already done. Hello, that's a no-brainer, literally in every sense of the terminology. But then 30 days of coaching, that is amazing. 30 days, y'all, 30 days of complimentary one-on-one coaching. If you don't do this, Like, really? For reals. Seriously, y'all. If you could see my face. Like, you're crazy. So this is fantastic. So we're going to put the link in the show notes, Badass Crew. You guys are all very familiar with the episode notes, the show notes, depending on the app where they're listening, or if they're on YouTube. It's down in the description. The link is right there. Just in case this is your first time listening to the show and you're sitting here thinking to yourself, show notes, what are those? Grab your phone, as long as you're not driving. Click on today's episode, scroll under Brooke's beautiful picture, and there you will see the episode notes or show notes, and you can find the link for the wellness kit. And it is 100% complimentary. She is offering this at no charge to the Badass Crew. So make sure you go click that link, get signed up, because y'all, at this point in time, I have almost 1,200 subscribers, which means there's a lot of people. So she could get, if you want access to this, you better be some of the first. So hurry up and go click that link. Brooke, this has been awesome. Thank you for being here and sharing your brilliance, because I felt the audience have a couple of like aha moments in there. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, you are very welcome. Very, very welcome. And of course, Badass Crew, you know how this goes. Stay tuned, because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast, so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.